This is super rare because I 9 times out of 10 or like 9.5 times out of 10, I never get to see my couples after I DJ for them, like on their way. I never get to see them ever again. So
Really? Yeah.
this
I
is
mean,
rare.
it was yeah, that night was probably honestly one of the best nights of my life. And I mean, the reason being the music fueled the dance party. And like, I can't tell you how many times people are just like, that was honestly one of the most fun parties I went to. Like
Yes.
the icing on the cake. And
That's the way we want it.
dude, it was amazing. Like you're a talented DJ. And my favorite story about that is when I came up and I was like, "You got to introduce my mom as the business bitch," and you were like, "Are you sure? Like, really? Like, I don't know about that." And um, yeah, she loved it. But yeah, man, no, it's cool. I mean, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on and chatting. It's
Thanks for
exciting.
having
So
me, man. Oh
of
yeah.
course,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
But yeah, I mean, your real name is Tyler, but I know you as DJ Take2. So
Yes.
um, yeah, curious where you got that name. I kind of want to kick it off with that.
Oh man. Long story. I'll spare you all the details, but I had a different DJ name before this, before Take Two, and when I wanted to get on the radio, there was another guy with like the same name, different spelling type of thing, um, and I thought I could get on, but the program director at the time was like, "There's no way I'm
Yeah.
letting you on the radio with that name." So this was my second take at a DJ name. So it ended up being Take
Yeah.
Two, and
Works
I
out, man. I
continued from
mean,
there.
it's funny how things happen and like they just stick. But no, I love that. That's awesome, man. So you started doing a radio show? You were on the radio first?
I was an intern at the radio station, and then after an internship I was able to hop on the radio and be with a couple different people. I just DJ'd. There were different people that
Yeah.
like talked and hosted and things like that, but I DJ'd and got a chance to do it for, oh gosh, I don't know. That was like the start of my career. I want to say at least 4 or 5 years or so on the
Oh,
radio.
rad.
It was really
Yeah.
good.
That's really
Nice
cool,
little
man.
run.
Yeah. I mean, so is that always like what you wanted to do? Like just you've had a love for music and just wanted to see what you can do in that route?
Um, no.
Really? Okay.
It really was. I wish I had one of those like cool stories where it was like music was always just it, and I really don't. I wanted to be a football player so bad, and I went to college to play football, and it didn't work out that way. And
Yeah.
when I stopped playing football, I literally I was like, I need something to do. I was kind of the locker room DJ, and I played music for a bunch of my friends. My older brother was a DJ. Like
Yeah.
music was always around, but that's not something that I really wanted to do. So when I stopped playing football, I was just like, I need something to do. And one of the guys on the football team was like, you should DJ at like one of the clubs that we have out here. I was in Kansas. I was in middle of nowhere, Kansas. And the guy was
Man,
like,
what
"You
does
should
that look
DJ
like?
at
A
one."
club out in Kansas? That's crazy.
It was insane. It was like a country bar 9 times out of 10. Like 6 days out of the week, it was a country bar. But on Saturdays, they were like, "We can play anything." And I wanted to
There we
DJ on
go.
Saturday. I was like, "Cool,
Yeah.
I'll play anything." And it was all the football guys that were like, "You have to DJ for us so we can like party." So that's what it ended up being. Like I bought my first piece of equipment like that same year, and then I was just like, "All right, I'm just gonna try this DJ thing." So I started playing music, and it just turned into something.
No, I love that, man. I think it's like there's so many things that happen in life where it's like little opportunities like that, where you start and try something and it leads to a whole, career down the road. Like who knows? If you didn't take the DJ route, who knows what you'd be doing now? Like maybe still radio, but I mean, I think you're probably doing something you enjoy, and I've seen you DJ like the Diamondbacks games now, and
I
I
do.
think I correct me if I'm wrong, but the Suns too, if I'm not mistaken.
I've DJ'd a couple events for the Suns and stuff.
Okay.
They've had a bunch of changes in management and everything, so
Yeah,
not too much anymore. But yeah, I've done a couple events for the Suns, the Cardinals as well, in their alumni program. But yeah, mainly for the Diamondbacks now. Yeah.
that's cool, man. Well, yeah, I know I sent you a couple questions over just before we began recording and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
um, one thing that I know is something a lot of people struggle with, myself included. Like I would love to, take getting after it and make it a business. And my wife and I were actually working to do that a little bit. We're trying to rebrand some of the things and create some content together. But
You're
um,
doing it.
trying, man. Yeah, but like it's a scary leap to try and one, put yourself out there, but then two, like you started a business where you DJ weddings and other events, and um I'm sure that was scary. And I don't know if you had kids at the time, but maybe just walk me through what your thought process during the time, some of the feelings you had, and how you did it. Because I think that's one of the biggest areas that people can get after it is, I'm going to take a chance on myself. I'm going to see if I can do this and see what doors it opens up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a risk,
Yeah,
and you're always like, is this the right decision? And am I moving in the right direction, or am I just like doing something stupid, right? um so it's always challenging, and I think it's, I don't know, for anybody out there that's like, should I do this, should I take a risk, even you, it's never 100%. I think
yeah,
even still till this day, I'm always like, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right field? Am I, going after it or getting after it the right way, right?
yeah,
Am
yeah,
I doing the right things to take the next steps, right? Or how far even can I take this? Like I think about that all the time. How far can I DJ? Am I going to DJ till I'm 100? Like, is this the right thing? So, I think taking that leap was more so a push than it was a leap.
hmm,
Um, and I ended up falling into it the same way I fell into DJing, where it was like, okay, we need more from you. That was like weddings, that was the Diamondbacks, that was anybody and everybody, that was asking me to do things, and that I put myself in those places, but they were like, we need more from you. So
yeah,
it kind of forced me to take the leap more so it did than just for me to jump on my own and be like, all right, let me figure these things out. It kind of just fell into place for me. And I know that doesn't always happen, but
yeah,
for me, it just started to fall into place. No, I don't have everything together, but it was more so like, okay, you need more from me. What more can I do in this direction? And how can I define my craft after that? But I want to say I got pushed into it before I was ready even. And I just started finding my footing from there.
yeah. No, I love that. And I think that's a very common thing that I hear from other people who have started their own businesses or who are like looking to make a career change or something like that. Even in running and coaching, there's people who say, oh man, well, I'm not a runner. Like I want to run a half marathon. And every year we try and get people to run for my wife's dad who passed away from cancer. And we run every year for him, which by the way, I'm going to be hitting you up for. We're doing the
Yes, let me know.
Mesa
I'm
half,
down.
but yeah, like it's always kind of scary, and you kind of sometimes just need that push, and from there just learn like what you said, like okay, well this is the situation I'm in, like what else can I give, what else can I do, how can I give more of myself to this craft and to ultimately make it either a career or just like a really efficient side hustle, which I know is not your thing, but it could be for someone else.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You and your wife are so efficient in what you do, though. Like, even from the outside looking in, it's like the second I even met you guys, was like, oh, I'm in a pilot. And I was like, you're a pilot? Excuse me? Like,
yeah,
the things that you guys were doing in the course that you were on, like, it just seemed like you guys had it all together. And I think that's always the common misperception, was like, this person has it all together and
yeah,
they are just, they got it all. How can I do that, right?
yeah,
um And I don't think that's it. I think we're all just here trying to figure it out step by
Yeah,
step.
absolutely. Well, I appreciate you saying that, but I can confirm, we're in the same boat, just trying to figure out life and everything like that. So, it is interesting. Like, I know social media has played a little bit of a role in that with like comparison, and you see everyone's highlight reels and that kind of thing, and it can get tough sometimes, especially like if you're not where you want to be. Um,
Mm,
but that's the thing is comparison. You can't really do that. You've probably heard the saying, "Comparison is the thief of joy," and
yeah.
um, it really is true. Like if you're comparing yourself to other people, if you're trying to say, well, DJ Take2 started his business and I'm nowhere near that. Like I got to start at ground zero. But the thing is you started at ground zero too, and
Yeah.
it builds up from there. And so it's like everyone is going to be a beginner at some point, and people are going to fail, people are going to mess up, and it's just staying consistent, staying disciplined, and continuing to move forward. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think what you said though about like refining your craft, you definitely did, because I remember like when we became one of your clients and we were like, all right, well, we got to meet and talk about the playlist and everything like that. Um, I can't remember the software that we had, but you're like, okay, yeah, just like put some songs in this, like ones that you
Oh,
want, ones that
Vibo.
you don't want.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Um, and I just remember I was like, the only thing we cannot have at our wedding is the cha cha slide, the Cupid shuffle, and all those classic ones that you have, which are
Yeah.
good songs, I will say.
Yeah.
But so like thought it was cool. You took a really personal approach to, what do you guys want? How do you envision the wedding? And then it's like the way that you managed the music at the wedding, I thought was like spot on. It was perfect.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, he actually just got married, and he asked my brothers and I to be the DJs, and it was not as smooth, not even close, and like no
That's
mixing. It's
okay.
just like one song from the other. Some songs had to get skipped because they weren't approved. So
It's
it's
all
like
right.
just random
It
stuff.
sounds
But
like my first couple weddings. It's all right.
yeah, well, we should talk about those a little bit. How was it like? Did you feel pressure going into like the first one? And I'm sure you're like, oh man, the bride. I better have everything set in place. This is her day. And
Yeah.
what was that like?
Yeah, I want to say one of my first couple weddings I always remember was a good friend's wedding. Um and I won't say I messed it up, but I will say I didn't have all my stuff together, and
Yeah,
it was like that. It was all over the place. It was a little less organized. Um and one of the things that they just really wanted was to kind of make it feel like a club. And that's something I can always do. And I think I try to even still carry a little bit of more of that like today, and
yeah,
try to make it not just feel so cut and dry like a wedding. Um, but that was one of the great things I was able to do. Other than that, I
yeah,
think people forget the rest of the wedding is a lot of MC work. You got to talk to people. You got to like go out there, put yourself out there, kind of curate these moments in
yeah,
between. And I messed all of that up. I think I got people's names wrong during toasts. I even like, and it was a good friend of mine, but I ended up getting their name wrong just out of nervousness,
yeah,
mispronouncing different things, not knowing where I was going, just timeline stuff that I was like, okay, let me put all this together. So, needless to say, I messed it all up, and it just helped me define my craft. Like I think, like you said, now I have programs now in place where, you can put music, and it gives me a great suggestion for what you guys like. And let me say, you guys did an amazing job.
Let's
A
go.
lot of couples, a lot of couples, they're hard to pick from, and they're like, I don't know what I like, which
Yeah,
is, you still got to do something with. But you guys did a great job putting music in there. I can only do so much. I can
yeah,
literally only DJ, right? It is on the couple to, help bring the energy, and that's something that you guys brought, and that's something I look forward with all my couples that I, talk to, or that I, onboard, is like, you guys also got to bring it, or your crowd has to bring it, or you guys have to have that type of energy. And I
yeah,
knew just right from the beginning when you were like, can you introduce my mom?
yeah.
And right when you said it, I was like, this is how we're starting. I know it's going to be a party. Like, I just
It
knew.
was fun,
So
man.
I think, as much as I hate to say, the wedding is so much it's not even me. Like I can only do so much. I can only DJ, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much of you guys, so much of the crowd, and you guys help so much. But what I just try to do is have those things in place where, set you guys up for success and set me up for success as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've built systems over the years, like to help refine it and everything like that. But I'm sure a lot of it does depend on the crowd. Like, have you had sometimes where like people just don't dance at all, or they kind of just sit back? Like, are those tough? I can't imagine.
They are. They're real rough. I've had I want to say $1,000 of weddings. Like people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And nobody dances,
Yeah.
right? Because they're focused on the wrong things. Like, cool, look at this ice sculpture over here, da 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 da, right? Um,
Yeah.
and some of the lowest budget weddings are like some of the best, to be
Yeah.
honest. So I don't think it's a matter of like, all the oohs and ahs and bells and whistles, but I've dealt with a lot of those small crowds, or even large crowds that are like, yeah, we're just not gonna dance. We're
Yeah.
just we're just not going to. And it's rough, but sometimes you just gotta play through it. It's like, you start playing music for yourself. What would I like to hear based on what the couple gave me and how
Yeah.
much of more can I mix in? But then also what I try to do is just focus on the people that are dancing, whether it's one person, right? Even if one person is only out there on the dance floor, I'm going to play what that one person likes all day. So they keep on dancing.
That's
And who
awesome.
knows?
Yeah.
They're just going to be a party starter because once
Yeah.
they're dancing and, other people see that type of energy, right? They're going to want to hop out there too. And hopefully it starts to build that crowd. But, there have been days where it's just that one person. And all you could do is be best friends with that one person to
Yeah.
say,
You're like,
what
hey,
else would
let's
you
go,
like to
man.
hear?
Just you and me.
Yeah,
It's just you. Let's do it.
that's all
That's
you can
awesome.
do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to play through it and kind of keep on going no matter what.
No, I love it. That's like, I mean, another great lesson for life. Like, just, sometimes you just got to make do with what you got and keep going. Like that's a big one that I've been trying to adapt, just kind of in my own life with starting getting after it and those kind of things. Is like it started, at least this podcast started very small, and the first episodes were a lot like what sounds like your first weddings. Like I was so nervous, you could hear it in my voice, and really tough to listen to. But like you have to get those reps. Like you have to get the tough ones, and eventually it builds into what it is, now today. Which I envision the podcast, hopefully getting much better in the future. But like
You're
it's still
there.
growing, and it's fun. It's just fun being part of that process where it's like I'm going to build something and I'm going to see where I can take it, in the future and that kind of thing. And it sounds like you did the same exact thing with your business, which I think is great. And yeah,
Yeah. Slowly and surely, man. It's just it's all a process. And I think, even from running and stuff, it's such a process where you're like, am I ever gonna get faster? Am I ever gonna
yeah,
get better at this? Like when does when does running get fun? That's
yeah,
and you're like, never. It never
yeah. No,
it's all pain.
it's like I've been running pretty seriously for the past 4 years, and I will say there's days that like I'm like, okay, that run wasn't that bad, but like for me, it's like it was never. Oh, I had a great time on that one.
Yeah.
Unless it's
It's
in like, yeah, the mountains are different. Like when I trail run, it's a little different because like you're in nature and you see
you
the
get some
trees and
scenery. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you get some scenery. But like when you're just on the road and you're just going for it, it's like man, you
It's
just
rough.
fall in. Yeah, but
Let me tell
yeah.
Arizona is probably also the worst when it
Oh
comes to
man,
like scenery and landscape. Like there's nothing to look at.
yeah, and
It's
heat too. Like
oh,
man,
right
I
now
was
it's
actually
super
down
rough.
there. I was down there 2 days ago and it's like 115. Um, and now I'm back up in Utah, which is where we live now, and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's 96, but that 20-degree difference is like, all right, I'm okay.
Drastic.
Yeah,
Drastic.
so it's
Yeah.
wild,
Oh
but
man, it's rough out here and it's just such a dry heat. But I'm sure you guys have more just like humidity and things that just make it gets sticky and all of that. It's rough. But
yeah. Well,
just gotta
Utah's
keep
actually not
powering.
that bad. Utah's it's pretty dry,
Is
but
it?
it's just like Yeah, it gets pretty hot and it's like really muggy or not muggy, smoggy. Like there's a ton of
Mm.
smog and stuff that comes from Salt Lake that just goes through the valley. But yeah, I mean it's not too bad though. Like up here, can't really complain. A lot different than Arizona. So yeah, but
I got to take a visit,
um,
man.
yeah, I mean
Making me jealous.
I admire it though. Like getting out there. Like my brother, he's stuck down there and he's running outside all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Kudos to you, man. That's way harder than anything I could do. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. Also, like last July, I went to Arizona to run a 50K in the desert. It was at
What?
nighttime, which was supposed to be a little bit better, but yeah, that was tough. Like because I trained in
What?
Utah and it was a lot cooler, and then I went down there and it was like when we started the race, I think it was 106,
Oh
and
my gosh.
yeah, it's rough. But
50K in the desert is insane. I have like a million and one running questions that I'm sure we'll probably get to, but yeah, 50K in the desert is just that's a different type of like just mental state and like just being
yeah,
able to continue and go through it because I don't know. Once I had to start learning. I'll just
yeah,
tell this quick side note. I started running a little bit ago, but even still learning distances and like kilometers and things like that. Where I was
yeah,
like, okay, like, 10K, cool. You know what I mean? And then like
yeah,
20K. And then once you start to get in like the 50Ks, and I'm sure you've seen like ultras and things
yeah.
like that, where I was like, how do people do this? Like,
Oh,
I'm
it's
barely making it to 10K, to half marathon,
yeah,
to even a full marathon. I was like, where do you even sign up for a 50K? Where do you
yeah. I
find out
mean,
this information? Like,
yeah. There's this website that I find. I think it's called like ultraraces.com. Like that's really what it's called. And then you could just like search all the different ones. Yeah, I found that and I was like, because I signed up for one that was supposed to be earlier in the year in Utah, and I got really sick before, and I was really bummed. But it's like I still got to get the distance in. I signed up for this thing, and so just shifted it to Arizona, which was
oh my
maybe not the best
god.
idea. But yeah, no, I have the same question. Like, you're getting into running and stuff. Have you learned about Cameron Haynes? Do you know who he is?
I have, yes.
Dude, that guy, he's insane. He just ran a race. It's called the Cocodona 250.
I
Which,
saw.
yeah, so
I
it's like
saw.
from Tucson to Flagstaff, basically.
Yeah.
And he ran the whole thing with a broken foot.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, like leading up to it, he was on like the Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe's like, "You probably shouldn't run. Like that sounds stupid." And he's like, I'll be fine." It's like that's a different animal. So I'm
Yeah.
also trying to understand how they do it, but
I think
um,
it's insane, especially those where they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna take like a 15-minute nap so I can stay on my pace." And you're like,
yeah,
"Excuse me?"
crazy. Yeah, after 3 days,
Yeah, like that's it. I think it worked out. I don't. Did he? Somebody that finished first, was he? Did he finish first? Somebody finished first.
it wasn't him. No, I think he was like eighth or something like that. But I can't
Whoever
remember who
finished
finished
first, it
first.
was like they had to keep somewhere around like an 8-minute pace for like whatever 250 miles.
Yeah,
Insane. I was like,
insane. Plus, on top of that, they had like 43,000 elevation gain
yeah,
or like feet of elevation gain. So yeah, that's insane.
yeah.
But yeah, I would like to bring it back though a little bit. And yeah, how did you get into running?
Um, oh man, the same way I got into DJing. Um, it was it was more forced on me. I think somewhere around COVID times 2019 or so was like, even though I stopped playing football, I never stopped working out and being active and being outside and stuff. So when all the gyms closed, I was like, I have to do something. And I was
Yeah,
literally trapped in the house. And I was like, I can't go anywhere to like lift weights, to go to the gym, whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna run. Like, I'm just gonna go outside
yeah,
and like go for a walk. And then a walk turned into a run. And then a run was like, okay, well, I did like 1 or 2 miles. Let me see how many more I can do. So I used to run the loop. It's somewhere around the Biltmore area in like in Phoenix.
hmm,
But it's a nice little loop. And it takes you around, I think it goes even further. I don't know, maybe a stretch of like 10 miles or so. But I only
nice.
ran like 4 miles. I'd run like down. And then I would just say like, okay, I'm 3 miles away from the house. Awesome. That means I have to run 3 miles
Yeah.
back. Like that was just
Yeah.
my distance barometer was like, okay, I'm 1.5, I'm 2 miles out, I'm 3 miles out. Okay, that means I just gotta make it home. Like I can't
Yeah.
call an Uber, I can't do anything else. So yeah, I it was more forced on me. I didn't really want to run. It was just like, let me get outside and let me start running. So I started somewhere around 2019 and just kind of graced my way into it. I will say though, I had a big break in between then and now, just because I think with running, even with anything, with life in general, I think you need to set goals, and I had none. Like I
Yeah.
had zero goals. So I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but you get like runner's fatigue, and especially it hit me really fast because I didn't have any goals. I wasn't signing up for any races. I wasn't doing anything. I was just like, I'm gonna get outside and run. So, when I got tired of it, I
Yeah.
got sick and tired of it. I was like, why would I do that? Why would I
Yeah.
go outside and run for fun? Like I was like, I don't know who that person was. So long story short, I think somewhere around um a year or so ago, I picked back up. So I had a nice little year gap. And then last year, somewhere I picked back up and I was just like, I really want to commit to this. So I started signing up for races. I started doing things. I think that's always the poison out there is
Yeah.
like, I sign up for a race. You even kind of mentioned it. I signed up for a race. I got to do it. So
Yeah. No,
that
it really
that's
is. It's
what keeps
like,
me going.
no, that's great. Like, and it really is helpful just to have a goal. And there are people like, who don't like the race environment and stuff. And I just tell them like, okay, well, just have the goal to be better than yourself. Like maybe it's you have a 10-minute pace and you want to get it down to like 9:30 or 9.
Yeah.
And let's try and get that done in 3 to 4 months, which seems, pretty quick, but I think it's doable, but I think that's
Yeah.
huge. Like set a goal for yourself and hold yourself to it. Like it's self accountability at that point. And yeah,
Yeah.
just
I think it's so much to learn in there though. It's like, there's so many intricacies of like running and like the things to do. I didn't know like, okay, I need to run slower. Like, right? Like all that zone two kind of type of
oh
stuff.
yeah,
Where it's like, all right, I'll run a little bit slower so I can get my endurance up. And then, I can do those different tempo runs. But I think it's just important to just start. Once you start,
yeah,
it's like, okay, I mean, this wasn't that bad. We can
yeah,
do this.
exactly.
Or like
And starting is
we
always
can
the
keep
hardest
on going.
part. Like that's always the hardest part. I'm sure you know who David Goggins is if you know who Cameron Haynes is.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
even him, like he talks about how sometimes he'll just look at his shoes for 12 minutes and be like, I don't want to do this. And everyone
Yeah.
thinks about him as like the unstoppable Goggins, which he probably is. I haven't seen him stop, but like if he's even having those thoughts, it's like I for sure will. And
Oh yeah.
it's just like get going. But it's the start is always the hardest part, and that's what I try and tell people who they tell me they want to get into running. It's like just understand the beginning is when you're going to be the most sore. It's when you're
Yep.
going to be the most unmotivated, but you have to commit. You just show up, do what you can, and like you said, I think zone two is a really powerful tool for runners to use. I think so. I hired a coach who has helped so many people hire or qualify for Boston, and she's ran Boston a few times. She's insane, but like
Yeah.
she says, like 80% of your running should be done in zone two.
Yeah.
Just because like you want to build that endurance, you want to build your heart. It's the strongest, or that's the muscle that's pumping the blood. And the only way to do that's like through slow, consistent work. And it's not a fun answer. Like
No,
zone
no.
two is never fun, but
it's,
um,
it's terrible because you feel like, and it's just like with life. You're like, I want to go fast. I
yeah,
want to like be there. I want to just like get it done. And even when I first started running, that was just the mindset was like, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna be as fast as possible. Like I'm just gonna go. So
yeah,
like I would just all gas for like 3-4 miles and be like, this was a great workout, right?
yeah,
And that's ultimately how I got the runner's fatigue was just like, I was just gassing myself, and then
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. So, I mean, I think, yeah, like you said, it's just a mindset where you're like, even though I don't want to, and even though this is gonna suck, even now, zone two training sucks because I know
Yeah.
I can go faster. And I'm sure you do this too, but it's
Yeah.
like I know I can go faster than this. I know I can like pick up the pace and just like keep going, but like staying in zone two and just like going through it, enduring it, all that stuff where it's like it's more of a mindset than it is
Yeah.
almost anything, right? Because zone two, you're like it's not painful,
Yeah. You
right?
could probably
You
have a conversation.
you're
Yeah.
just chilling, right? It
Yeah.
feels good, but then you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It's when you get to those longer miles when you're like, I could have been done. Now,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's always a process, but and whether it's life or running, I think it's just always knowing like, all right, there's an end goal here. I got to go through this so I can get faster, or so I can have the endurance
Yeah.
to actually like hit the goals that I want to hit.
No, I think that's a great perspective and really good point. Like, stay accountable to the goals. And one thing I always tell people is like, don't be afraid to adjust. That's something I also tell like myself all the time is like, don't be afraid to adjust your goals. My wife and I, we were actually supposed to run the grandma's marathon in Duluth, Minnesota, in 2 days.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, we had to pull out because she has like really, really bad runner's knee.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, which is like, it's caused from like mobility problems and other like small muscles you would never like consider even like working out.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's the other muscles overcompensate, which causes knee problems. And yeah, we were just like, yeah, let's just it's a race. We can always run it next year. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like she was real bummed, and I told her like, hey, your job now is just like full recovery mode. Like let's just get you better. Let's get you back into running. Like you don't want to be hurt. Because she's like, I'll go out there and I'll run the race, and I'm like, that's probably not the best
Don't do
idea.
it.
Like
Don't do
I
it. Yeah.
really admire the ambition, but it's for future sake and for the future of your knees. Let's reconsider. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm like proud of her for wanting to push, but I think it's important to it's okay to adapt, and I think a lot of that takes humility sometimes because like you said, you're like, man, I want to go fast, or I know I can do this, and I can do, or I can run faster than I'm doing here in zone two or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it takes a little humility to say, okay, well, I'm going to ease off and rethink my strategy. But
Yeah. How
um,
do you even do that? Because you mentioned the 50K. So how do you
yeah,
even do that for 50K? Like, I think it's such a mental game where you're like, all right, how do I not burn out right here?
yeah,
How do I not like just gas myself? But also, how do I have the patience to like finish this out? Because even like I'll admit I haven't done a full marathon yet, but I'm
yeah,
I'm training and prepping for one. But even so, along the way, it's those mental roads where you're like, all right, I could I could just call it quits
yeah,
now, or like this is a lot, or like you're only at mile 20 and you're like, great, I got 20 more of these things to go, or
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the 50K was one of the ones that tested me, I think, the most, um, because that was like the furthest distance I did. It was 31 miles. It was a 7.5 mile loop, just at Usury Pass actually. So it was just
Wow.
around there. And the first two laps, so like the first 15 miles, were pretty brutal, just because I think I wasn't used to the heat, and I went out the gate pretty hot. Like I think I was probably in third place for the first lap or so, and then
Yeah.
instantly, like I felt it as soon as I entered the second lap, and this is pretty gross, but like every quarter mile, I'd throw up in the bushes, and
And
like
keep going.
yeah, and it was tough. Like that's the thing is, I was like, man, I'm losing all my fuel because you have to carb up quite a bit for those races, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm losing all my water, so I'm gonna get dehydrated here. And I finished the second lap, and then like I called my coach and I went to the medic tent because like I was like, I don't even know if I should be running this thing.
Yeah.
And the medic said that I was good. They're like, all the vitals are fine. You could probably run this thing. And my coach said she thinks it was probably just a dehydration thing. So if I could like sip water, then I could probably get through. But I wanted to quit so many times during that race. Like I wanted to throw in the towel. But there were a couple reasons like I wanted to keep going. That race was a little special because my friend Jordan, he was battling stage 4 colon cancer at the time,
Mhm.
and I told him I would run the race for him. And so like I was like, I'm bought in, like I'm not going to stop. We got
Yeah.
shirts made and everything that was like cancer sucks. The company that he owned, they made all these hats for our race and stuff. And so like I was like, I can't drop out of this thing. And then I just kept thinking of him.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one thing honestly like I do a lot is I think about the people who can't run, as weird as that sounds. But like I remember the first time that happened, I was in Utah and I was running by a park, and there was this little kid who I don't know what kind of disability he had, but he had those little arm crutches, and he was kind of
Yeah.
limping along. And um, I was like, man, that kid is like 6 years old, I assume. And I'm like, he's never, like, it sounds bad, but he's never going to be able to run. At least I don't think. And
Yeah.
I just thought about that, and I was like, at least I can. Like I might not be the best runner. Like there's obviously other people who are much more skilled, faster than I am, but I have the opportunity, and then like my body's well enough to run. And
Yeah.
so that's a perspective I kind of gained during that race. Was like I'm fortunate enough to be able to have two legs that work well, and so that kept me going a lot. But I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was just like I wanted to keep that commitment to myself, and it did get tough. Like my headlight shut off a few times. The batteries kept dying. It's like I was running in the desert in the dark, and I had like
Yeah.
my iPhone light, which was terrible.
No.
And there's so much like dust blowing. Like there was a dust storm going on that blew through, so it's like I'm just seeing dust in front of me.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like I don't know. It was also kind of an adventure. I was like, this is something that a lot of people probably won't be able to experience, and I'm like, I'm lucky enough that I can.
Yeah.
And so I think gratitude, and then just like I want to know what my limits are, and see what I can do in that sense. But yeah, I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but
No,
I think just
I
a
think that's
couple
a
of those.
great answer. I think that's one of, just because you just said it, is so much gratitude. And I think that's one of the things that has, one, pushed me further as a DJ, but also now in my running journey, is like just being thankful for being able to be out there,
Yeah,
and being able to run, and just, whether it's being able to DJ. Not a lot of people get a chance to make a
yeah,
career out of DJing. So I think it's being thankful. But it's crazy because it didn't really hit me, like, at least with gratitude and running, until, like, I want to say a couple races ago, where it's like there's always these couple people out there, but it
yeah,
made me like laugh, and it made me like be grateful. I was running. It was just a 10K, but
yeah.
I was running, and I'm low key like trying to give it my all. Like, I'm trying to PR. I'm doing great. There is a guy out there who came out there in shorts and flip flops, and
Oh
he
my
is like beating like, he's
god.
just ridiculous. And
Yeah,
like, I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. Like, there's no way. He's just beating me, right? Dusting me. But on the way, he was so thankful for everybody. Like, the people that had water out there, the people water stations, sometimes they'll
yeah,
shut down streets and stuff. So there were police out there. He was just like, hey, thanks for being out here. Hey, thanks for being out here. Hey, like, we really appreciate it. Like,
yeah,
patting people on the back while he's running by. And I'm like, that, to the wrong person, that could be like, leave me the hell alone. Like,
yeah. Like screw
but
this guy.
yeah, yeah, it was like, it could be a diss to me. But just seeing that, and in retrospect, when I finished, I was just like, I think that's it. Like, just being grateful for being out here, just being appreciative for,
Yeah,
having the space, having the capacity to run. Um, Not that it's going to make you any faster, but I think it makes it not so not enjoyable. I wouldn't even say enjoyable is the word, but
Yeah.
I do think there's a certain element where you start to not look at it like I gotta like if I'm I gotta beat my PR, and if I don't,
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat
Yeah.
myself up about it all day. You know what I mean? Like you just start to be able to appreciate where you're at and what you're doing a whole lot more. Like
Yeah, for sure.
whether it's running or whether it's DJing, whatever it is, I think, even going back to those empty dance floors, it's like I appreciate where I'm at and I appreciate what I'm doing. Um, because I could be the
Yeah.
best DJ somebody's ever heard, but in my mind, there's only one person out there and this dance floor sucks. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think it's all perspective, and I think it's like you said, it's just gratitude. It's being able to appreciate where you're at and what you're doing in that moment.
Yeah, it really does just give you a different perspective to look at things, and um, for me, it just yeah, like you said, I think it helps you see that your journey is unique to yourself.
Yeah.
Um, because I think like what we were talking about a little bit in the beginning about comparison, like it's easy to jump on social media and I follow a ton of like amazing athletes, like Nick Bear is one of them. I don't know if you've seen him before, but he's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I gotta look. I gotta
Oh, there
go
we
one
go.
more.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
one more, dude. You got the black one. There we go.
Yeah. I do.
Wasn't that one limited edition or something?
It was. But when I first like started following him, I was like, let me just sign up to be whatever member or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think last month or a couple months ago, it was like, hey, we're coming back out with the black hats, and I was like, great, I get one.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I
So,
mean that guy's amazing. And the things that he's doing, like he's so fast. He got hit by a car this year and then
oh my
he's
gosh,
bounced back and now he's like still cranking out crazy fast miles. And then
yeah.
there's this other guy who's Cameron Haynes' son. I don't know. Do you know who Truett Haynes is? Have you
I
seen
don't
him?
know. I've heard of him, but I don't think I watched his stuff or anything.
You got to look this guy up because he's another animal. Like he just ran the Boston Marathon. He's kind of like that guy that you ran against in shorts and flip flops, but he ran it in jeans,
Oh
and
no.
he got like a 2:36 marathon time.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and then like he ran another marathon a week later in jeans. And the last mile, his shoe fell off, but he just picked up a shoe and ran with with his one shoe on, and still got like a 2:38.
Oh my
So just
gosh.
like these animals, and it's like easy to see that and be like, man, I'll never be like them. But instead, it's like, hey, I have a chance if I just stay consistent at this thing. But you know what? They're doing something that's amazing, and I don't know. I like being in a world where it's like, hey, kudos to you for running a marathon in jeans, or kudos to you for running in flip flops and shorts.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I would never do it, but at least I got to see it. So
Yeah. I think that you just get to a point where you're like, you do get to enjoy it. Like,
yeah,
even though you're working hard to like set a goal, set a PR, whatever it is, like you get to those points where you're like, I've worked this hard. I'm gonna enjoy it.
yeah,
Whatever happens to me, like I'm gonna enjoy it. What my shoe could fall off, whatever it is, I'm gonna be out here having fun with it as well. Like,
yeah.
you know?
Well, I have to ask you about your triathlon that you podium for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. That was awesome. I saw that and I was like,
Oh
"Dang, DJ Take2, let's go."
yeah. It is. It was another thing that I was forced or pushed into.
Dang. So
I
that's
would say
that's
that
the key is like, hey, if I want to get him to do anything, I just got to push him into it.
basically that's always been my life. I don't know why, but things just fall into my lap, and I'm grateful for anything that happens. So, um, I will say my caveat, not to discredit myself, but I will say I cheated it a little bit because in the triathlon, you can do different events. So I did a dualathlon, which is you do the same event twice. Instead of run, bike, swim, I
Oh,
did
nice.
run, bike, run,
Oh,
right?
nice.
Because,
Okay.
yeah, I know I'm not a good swimmer. So I was like, I can't. But the friend that got me into it, his name is Jordan Hunter, amazing guy. And he teaches swim. He used to be Navy, but he teaches aquatics. And literally called me one day and was like, hey, there's this triathlon coming up. I think you can do it. And immediately I was like, I don't know who you think I am. Like, what the hell?
Like, yeah, I've just been
Um,
posting running stories. What are you talking about?
exactly. I was like, I'm just out here having fun, posting my running videos, just minding my business.
Yeah.
But he was, shout out to friends that believe in you because I was insane. So he called me and he was like, you should do this. Um, he was like, it's in Omaha, Nebraska, and you have like a month. And I was like, okay, I think I can do it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I signed up and I was like, I'm signed up. I'm committed.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is to it. Um, so I got out there and I just started running my race. I think it's I don't know, it's such an amazing environment to be around so many people with like amazing talent, great mindsets,
Yeah.
and like you're telling people like it's not a secret. I'm like, hey, it's my first one, and they're like, oh, you're gonna do great. I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't know that. You don't know. Like it's I'm down on myself, and they're
Yeah.
out there like you're gonna do amazing. Yeah, I just know it. Like you're gonna do great.
Yeah.
Or like the things that you've been saying that the fact that you're starting is amazing. Like just being out here is great. So it started out with so much gratitude um, that I really appreciated it. And then when I finished one of the races, I ran two races out there, and I only podiumed once, which is amazing, regardless.
That's so
Um,
cool. Yeah.
but when I finished the race that I podiumed for, it was run, bike, run. And I got done, and I was honestly, truly just happy I finished. Like I was good. I was done. And then one of the guys I just met out there, he was like, "Hey man," he was like, "You got third place." I said, "What?" He was like, "You got third place." I was like, why would I? Why would I literally asked? I was like,
Yeah.
why would they give me third place? Like,
That's
I don't
crazy.
know.
Yeah.
I don't deserve third place, right? And before I knew it, they called my name up to the podium, and it was an amazing moment. But I went out there with zero expectation. I went out there with the thought that I was probably going to fail at this. There's literally Olympians out there that are like better than you, right? So
That's
I
crazy.
just it was an amazing moment. It was great. I was forced into it, but um, it's got me into it where I've caught the bug, and I'll see what else I can do with it. Hopefully, I'll get in the water next time.
Yeah.
But it was such an amazing moment. It was great. So
That's really cool. No, that is really awesome. And like I feel like the race environment does that. Like there's something about races. I'm sure it's the same in a triathlon, but everyone does seem to be like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be fine." Like it's
yeah,
not like you probably have this in football, you see the other team and you're like, "You guys are going to die. I'm going to kill you guys." Like,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. Like, get ready. You guys are in for hell.
yeah,
Um but like at a race, it's like, "Hey, just do your best. Like just show up and do what you can." And I also remember like my first marathon, I was terrified. And
yeah.
I was like all alone up in like they bus you up super far and then they just drop you off and you're sitting all alone for like 2 hours in the middle of
Like,
nowhere. And so like I'm just trying to walk around and I remember talking to this one guy and he's asking me, how long I've been running. I was like, about a year and a half. And he goes, okay, well, like this is your first one. Like I remember mine. It's a special experience. Like take every moment in as well as you can. And I remember after that race, I was just like, it was so weird. It was like a emotional roller coaster. Like I'm not one that gets emotional, but like I remember driving over. We have tons of hills here in Utah, and I drove over a hill and I saw like the mountains in the background. And I was like, life is so beautiful. Like it's just so stupid. Like, but
you're
it
just
really is
crying.
like
I cried too. It's okay.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's like I don't know if I was happy because it was over or like, I just proud of myself I was able to push through or whatever it was. But like, yeah, it's a cool place to be and like it's a supportive community and stuff like that. And
yeah. I
that's
think
what's
that's
cool
one of the
about it to
craziest
me.
things I noticed too is like running is so supportive. Like
Yeah.
I think other sports, like you said, football it's competitive, where you're like I'm out here to beat whoever,
Yeah.
right? And even like you think to yourself, it's so intimidating because you're like a bunch of these people are going to be faster than me. and I want to go out there and be my best. You like when I first started running, oh yeah, the goal is to be first. I want to be in first place,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like that's just not the reality of it. I think the goal is always now is just to finish, right? You just want to be able to finish,
Yeah.
and no matter what pace you can do, you're like, okay, I want to, if I can beat this pace, then I'll beat my pace. But the goal number one is to finish. But the support system is so amazing because I think a lot of people will like use you as motivation and you don't even know it. Like
Yeah.
I think one of my first races, there was a guy and I admittedly I stopped in the middle of a race. Like I think it was only a 10K or so, but I stopped at mile 3 because a lot of my practice, I was so used to like running 1 mile and stopping, catching my breath, whatever. So I got to mile 3 and I did exactly that. I
Yeah.
stopped. And one of the guys behind me was like, "Hey, you're doing great. I've been pacing you for the last 3 miles, and you're doing great." And then
That's
he kept on
awesome.
going, and I was like, "I got to keep going. Like, I just
Yeah.
have to." But it's the attitude like that. There's so many good like just attitudes and gratitude out there where it's like this is a supportive community, and you wouldn't even think so. You're like, I get it. Once you, we're not going to the Olympics just yet. You might have a
Right.
goal to, but I think the goal for now is just to be appreciative of where you're at. And everybody knows that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm no Olympian. I'm doing it just like you. And it's really good. I think the
Uh,
oldest athlete out there at the triathlon was 91.
90.
And
No
that
way.
was inspiring. That was like,
Yeah. That's amazing.
if they can do it, I know I can, like there's no reason.
Yeah. That's so
So
cool. Dang. 91 years old, man.
91. It was amazing. And they podiumed. I mean, it was an age bracket thing. I don't think there was
Yeah.
anybody even close to them.
They're like,
Um,
you're the only 90-year-old. Let's go. First
exactly.
place.
But yeah, either way, I don't know
Sorry
what
about
happened.
that.
No, I'm
That's all
sorry.
right, man. Technical difficulties always happen. It's adapt. We're talking about it today.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But yeah, it was good. 91 years
that's
old was
awesome.
the oldest, and it was amazing.
It is amazing. And I've thought a lot actually about like the like how I just think the running community is so supportive. And I think it comes down to the fact that you're just suffering together with like everybody around you. Like
Yeah.
it's when you're suffering that forms bonds. And like one of my buddies up here in Utah, his friend was running 31 miles for his 31st birthday,
Ooh,
and it was just at a park. It was a 1 mile loop, so they had to do it 31 times. When I saw that, I was like, you should have picked a different one. But the reason they did it is he's like we did a 1 mile loop so people could just come and run whatever they were comfortable doing. Um, and so people would come and run like 2 miles with them or a mile or whatever.
yeah,
And I just ended up running like 10 with this guy and didn't know him before I ran with him. And at the end, we were like buddies and like we learned all about each other and stuff. And it's just like, we're going through something difficult together. Might as well make the most of it. And I think it does do something where it's like, we're in this together and we're suffering. It's really
yeah.
what it is. But
Basically, all the pain. But
yeah,
I think that's great. Like, it's such a bonding experience where, like, I mean, even people you don't know, yeah, you start connecting with, and you're like, hey, we're here. We're in this together. We
yeah,
got about 2 hours, so let's just
yeah,
talk to each other, or see it through.
absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite pictures that I have was from my 50K that I ran in Arizona. Um, on my second lap, I was like really struggling. But my wife was like, "Hey, I'll run this one with you," and I was like, "Okay, all right, well, whatever." She didn't sign up for the race or anything, but
Love
and like
that.
that day before, I think she ran, or the day of, she ran 15 miles. So she was kind of
Wow.
doing her own ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Um, but she's like, "I'll run this lap with you," and like she did, and that whole time it was like I relied on her strength because she had way more than I did during the time.
Yeah.
And it's like that, that guy who's like, "Hey, you're doing great," and then you kept going. It's like that bleeds into each other. I feel like it's like you can lean on one another's strength, and if someone else is going, that 91-year-old, it's like, hey, I can keep going too.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
love
pretty
it.
cool.
Did you
But
start running first, like your journey, and then wifey joined in, or was it the opposite?
it was kind of on my own at first. my sister-in-law was like, hey, like I want to run a half marathon, and this was back in 2021, and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I don't know, half marathon, it sounds a little much. But I was like, I want to do it. I want to try. And like during that time, same thing with COVID. Like I got into running just a little bit, not very much.
Yeah.
And I would do like 7 mile runs every now and then, but like 11-minute pace, real slow. And I was like, I could probably do a half marathon, but a lot of stuff happened with my health. I got really sick back then, and I was down to like 135 pounds. And the doctors were like, if you run this, you'll probably have a heart attack. So I was like, okay, got to stop.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but that planted the seed, and I was like, okay, I want to see where this leads. I want to see what I can do. And then they actually sent a medal to like my parents because I didn't sign up for the race, or I didn't show up to the race. And I was like, Mom, you can't give me that medal. I didn't earn it. And then I was like, I moved up to Utah and still was running a little bit consistently. And then I just ran a half marathon outside, just by myself, like because I wanted to earn that medal, and so my mom sent it
Yeah.
to me,
Ah.
and that was like my first one. But then I started dating the wife, and she every single year they run a race for her dad who passed away from cancer, like I was saying, and it's just a half marathon. Um, but what they do is like they'll get tons of people who don't run or people who run now and then, like, but they'll all come together and run for a cause. So we all run
Yeah.
to support those who have been like, who have been impacted by cancer in some way.
I love
Um,
that.
and so we started dating, and she's like, hey, like come run this race in January, is in Newport Beach. Um, and I was like, man, okay. So I got into it that way, and I was like, I'm gonna go into it, and I pushed myself hard on that race. It was like my
Yeah.
first actual official half marathon, but I was like, I gotta beat everyone. Um, and it was like after that, I was like, well, um,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna marry this girl, and running's not going away, so I better just get used to it. And so like after that, I ran my first marathon in June of that year, so 6 months later.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, it's always something that's like I admire people who run,
Yeah.
and I've always considered myself someone who doesn't. Like it's easy, I think, to put yourself in that bucket of like, oh yeah, I don't run, like that's not for me.
No.
Um, but yeah, that's the thing. And so like what I love about it now is what you've talked about a lot is like the mental piece. Is I always ask myself, okay, well, can I take the next step?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then I try to. Um, and obviously, I'm not like I don't do it if I'm injured or anything like that, but really just want to like see what my limits are. And it's been a good therapeutic thing for me. Like I get a lot of time to think when I'm running, and
Oh yeah.
um, especially like when it's in the trails, like being in nature and stuff is beautiful. But that's kind of how I got into it, and so she's kept me consistent, and yeah, now
It's
we're both
what
getting
a
into it.
way what a way to test your relationship. It's like I'm gonna take you on a half marathon and
Yeah,
see
I
if you
mean,
make it.
yeah, it was good, but like I don't know, it was one of those experiences too where like we had a whole Airbnb full of people in California
Yeah.
that were all friends that running this race, and like that was something where I was like, man, I can get behind something like this. Like this is a community, and um, I think yeah, this year we did it in Vegas, the Rock and Roll Marathon or the
Oh
half
yeah.
marathon in Vegas. Which, if you get the chance to do that, that's pretty cool because it's at nighttime, and there's tons of DJs all along
I
actually,
want to do it.
which is
Yeah.
cool. Um, but yeah, I think this year we had around 45 people
Oh wow.
show up and run, and so like it's just cool to see that piece of it, and like that's what I love to see now is other people testing themselves, and um like my brother, same boat. He was like, I'm never going to be a runner, and I don't know, you may have saw him at my wedding, but he was the one with the super long hair. He was a bigger dude.
Yeah.
um
I
he was
remember.
265 at the time. Now he's down to 203,
Wow.
and he ran his first marathon last November, and now
Wow.
he's running a 50K with me in October, and
Oh my.
like it's just cool, like seeing him like, grow and develop in this way. And yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. I think I love that piece of it too. Is like people testing themselves, not thinking that they have the potential to do what they want to do, and then seeing that they can, and
yeah.
then they're like, oh, what's next? Like, what else can I do after this? Like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool to me.
Oh yeah. I always loved seeing that. Is like, yeah, people push their limits. I think that's kind of how we all get into it. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a runner. I don't really I don't
Yeah.
really do
Absolutely.
that type of stuff. And then you're like, all right, this isn't that bad. And then you get
Yeah.
out there and kind of continue to do it. And now I think I'm in that phase too where um I guess now I'm trying to sightsee a little bit. So I might sign up for the Rock and Roll in Vegas and try to get some other stuff just because, yeah, well, Arizona's landscape isn't great, but I think
Yeah.
being in those environments is always fun too. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now there's a DJ out here, and now I get to see different stuff, or now I get to be around different people and stuff. I want to do um, the Disney half, but
Oh
it's
yeah, that's at Disneyland, right? Or
it
does it just
is,
pass through Disneyland?
but it sells out like a year or 2 years in advance. Like I think 2026 is
Really?
sold out already,
Oh my gosh.
which is
When is
ridiculous.
it?
It is. They do two of them. There's one around Halloween time. I think there's three. One around
That'd be
Halloween
cool.
time, which sells out just because it's costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they do a winter one as well, Winter Wonderland, and then one at the top of the year somewhere in January. But like all three
Hmm.
of them sell out so fast. And so I'm like,
That's
I'm in
insane.
that stage where I'm looking them up and like all my
Yeah.
Instagram feed is like next race, da da da. But I want to go outside wherever, Long Beach, somewhere, Vegas, and actually
Yeah.
go run and do some different stuff. So I'm in that phase, but it's a
It's
crazy
a it's
journey.
a it's a fun phase to be in. You
It's an
alluded to it a
expensive
little bit.
phase.
I think it is expensive. Yeah. I don't understand. Like that's one thing I'm like, does it really cost that much to put on a race? Like, come on, guys. Like, drop the
Like,
price a little bit.
yeah, it's
Okay,
really
so
big.
I gotta do something difficult. Plus, I gotta pay $150 to do it.
Yeah. There's been a couple races, especially where I've been also like slightly disappointed because I sign
Yeah.
up. Of course, you get a bib, you get whatever, whatever. But then there you don't get a medal. Not that you're in it for the medal, but
Yeah.
you you want a medal. Like I'm not getting
Yeah.
anything else out of this race but a medal and some good vibes. I better get a medal. And there have been
I
multiple
know,
races where I haven't gotten a medal. Where I'm like, what did I do this for?
dude.
Why
I
did I
mean,
pay 150 and I don't even get a
I'm
medal?
I'm with you on that. When I finished my 50K, they had two choices for you that you could pick as like your medal. One of them was a mug, and it like wasn't even that cool. And then the actual medal itself was like a piece of wood that had like I don't even know what it was. It was like just one of those crappy pieces of rope that you get at Home Depot or something. And I was like, I guess I'll take that, but like whatever.
Oh
Um,
man, it's
but
terrible.
you said you're signing up. You're training for a marathon. Which one?
I am. So Arizona or Phoenix has its first annual marathon. I think they used to do one maybe years and years ago, but they brought it
Yeah.
back. And they're doing the Phoenix or Arizona's first annual, I calling it a first again, annual marathon. So it starts if you're familiar with Arizona's landscape, it starts somewhere like in
Yeah.
Goodyear and then we'll end up somewhere in the Tempe, Scottsdale ish area.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but yeah, it's their first one in many, many years, and it's in December. So I'm training for that, but I want to kind of do one before that to like,
Hmm.
I don't know, to push myself.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. But that one's the one I'm training for, somewhere in December. But it's such a big gap where I'm like, I got to do something else in between. So I've been doing little ones, but I want to do like a Long Beach marathon before this one and just
Yeah.
kind of see.
No, that'd be cool. And I think I'm gonna do the Phoenix one. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I'm doing it. Yeah. Well, my wife texted me today. Her friend's doing it, and she's like, "I'm gonna do the Phoenix Marathon." And I was like, "Well, don't count me out." So I think
let's
I
go.
might sign up. So after I tell her that you and I talked about this, she'll probably be like, "All right, sign up."
Let's do it.
Um, but yeah, the Phoenix one, I ran the Mesa Marathon. That one was cool.
Yeah,
But Phoenix would be way better. I feel like the landscape and everything would be kind of nice. In December, that's the best time to run a marathon in Arizona.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You got small windows out here in Arizona where it's like, all
yeah,
right, November, December, January. I think we're just approaching a time where I'm like, if I don't get out and run before 6 a.m. or something, I might not run for the day.
yeah, it's I do not blame you. That's tough, man.
Yeah, it's
Um,
brutal.
but I do want to ask you before we wrap things up here. You asked me at the beginning, what do I tell myself to keep going, when times get tough, or like when I'm like, man, I'm only 10 miles in, I got 10 more to go.
Yeah.
Curious what you tell yourself.
Oh man. I'm like, do I want to get paid? No, I'm just um no, it is I think it's so much of like we've kind of been saying, it's gratitude. I know whatever space I'm in, wherever I'm at, whether it is running or whether it is DJing, um, I know in my mind I've worked really hard to get to that space.
Yeah.
And it's a privilege to be in that space. So, if I'm DJing for the Diamondbacks and I'm like, I'm just having a bad night, I'm just, I don't feel great. Maybe, nobody else can tell, but it's me. Same thing with weddings, whether it's one person on the dance floor and I'm like, this is a bad night for me. Um,
Yeah.
Same thing with running. I'm having a bad day. I'm running slow, out of breath, can't catch my pace like I usually do. I think it's gratitude. It's like it is a privilege to be where I'm at, wherever that is. Um, and I need to appreciate. I need to be in the moment. And that's kind of what I start to tell myself anytime and every time. One of the mantras, I guess, for the triathlon in Nebraska, somebody said it to me at the beginning, and I just kind of never forgot it. Was like, your race, your pace, and like
Hmm.
it didn't matter. No matter how slow you go, no matter how fast you think you wanted to go, like, it didn't matter. Like it was you by yourself doing your own race, doing your own thing. The goal is just to finish, and I think that's life. Like wherever you're at, finish the job, finish what you're doing, and you're gonna feel accomplished at the end, no matter how slow that takes you or how fast that takes you. Like it's all up to you.
Yeah. That's great. I think that's spot on. Like it really is. And everyone's journey is unique. And it's been kind of fun just following you along on Instagram and stuff, and seeing the Strava trend. Like I saw the one in the gas station fridge. That one was sweet.
Thank you.
Um, but it's cool. Like, and I think it inspires people to take a chance on themselves, and they're like, oh man, I see Tyler's out there grinding. Like maybe I can do the same thing. And I think that's something, we that's why we're here
Yeah,
on Earth, at least, like I believe, to help each other out and to build each other up. And one way to do that's to make yourself better. And I think running, DJing, like the podcast, like all these things that you and I do that take time, but that we enjoy to do, I think do make us better people. And
yeah.
then it's always giving back. So I love that. I think that's great.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, you and your wife inspire me a whole lot as well. So I watch you guys through Instagram. I watch what you're doing. You're one of the, like I said, one of the rare couples that like I still get to connect with and things. So watching you on your journey and watching you guys just continue to strive for greatness is such an inspiration to me. So, keep going as well.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and same goes to you. Like, keep training, because I want to run with you at Phoenix. That'd be cool.
Yeah, let's
Um,
do it, man.
but yeah, it's I appreciate that, and yeah, you're doing the same thing. So, um, yeah, you're the man. But anything else that you want to leave the listeners with before we wrap up?
you know, just keep going. Keep going as best as you can, as much as you can. Just keep going. I know it's always difficult. Kind of like we've been saying. I know it's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I heading in the right direction? Am I going at the pace I should be going? And I don't think that feeling ever goes away. If
Yeah,
anybody's looking for it to like, when will I ever get over this? Or I don't think it ever goes away. But I think it's something you need to embrace and be in it, embrace the journey, love it, and keep going. You'll be where you want to be before you know it.
yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I seriously appreciate you coming on. One thing that's a secret, but it's coming out soon, is I'm making T-shirts, and as soon as
Let's
I do,
go.
I'm gonna message you for your address, and I'm gonna send you one because
Yeah.
you're getting after it, and every guest gets a T-shirt. So it's not
Oh,
much, but hey,
that's
so
much love, man. It's more than I've got from a couple races. So thank you.
hey, there we go. Yeah, as long as I'm replacing the medal that you didn't get at that one race.
Thank you. I
But
appreciate that, man.
yeah, but if anyone wants to follow you or reach out to you for DJing, where should they go?
Yeah, I am at DJ Take2. That's TAKE, and then the number two everywhere. I think Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm all over it. But hit me
Right
up.
on.
I'm here for anything. If whether you want some running advice, I don't have a lot, but
Hey, you're a runner, man. Like that's the thing is if you're out there doing it, you're a runner. Like I that pace thing, it's that's a real quote. It's your race, your pace,
yeah,
and the fact that you're out doing it, like, hey, you're a runner. Doesn't
yeah.
matter. So
Well, thank
I
you,
think that's
thank
awesome.
you.
But yeah, I'll put all your stuff in the show notes. But yeah, man, seriously, thanks for coming on today, and it
Yeah,
was
thanks
fun
for
catching
having me.
up. And yeah, hopefully we'll see each other soon.
Absolutely. I'll see you at the next start line. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That'll be good.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you everyone else for listening. And as always, keep getting after it.